possibly happen? How anyone could be that irresponsible?
Joe Biden speaking shortly after last year's raid on Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago and the discovery of hundreds of classified documents, a story that broke in the run-up to the midterm election.
And I thought, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods?
Well, since then, classified documents have been found amongst Joe Biden's vice presidential files, not just at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C., but his home in Delaware, too.
Classified material next to your Corvette? What were you thinking?
My Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
Well, that's a relief.
Under the regulations, the extraordinary circumstances here require the appointment of a special counsel for this matter.
Timing-wise, too, it doesn't look good, with the initial discovery at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C., known 6 days before the midterm election.
I was briefed about this discovery and surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office.
Mr. Biden's personal lawyers found the classified material while packing files in a locked closet there, the Penn Biden Center being an office he used once he'd left the Obama administration in 2017.
I don't have access to classified information anymore. I don't get briefed every morning by the agency, as I did for 8 years.
There's been no allegation or no suggestion that these documents were declassified. Also, these documents were classified at a very high level, at the TS-SCI level. That is very sensitive material.
TS-SCI stands for Top Secret, Sensitive, Compartmented Information. We're talking about the kind of material that even if you were looking at it in the White House and, say, needed the restroom, you'd have to lock the papers up first before you could go. Yet there they were next to the Corvette.
So the material was in a locked garage?
Yes, as well as my Corvette.
Most of us are wondering why this apparent mishandling of sensitive information is any different to Mr. Trump's, which ultimately triggered an extraordinary FBI search. No, Joe Biden didn't have nearly as many documents, and it's also fair to say that the former president wasn't exactly forthcoming in giving back the hundreds of documents in his possession.
I've turned over the boxes, they've turned over the boxes to the archives.
But it's also important to note that as vice president, Joe Biden had no authority to declassify documents on his own, unlike, for example, President Trump. That also means he wasn't covered by the Presidential Records Act provision that gives former presidents access to documents from their presidential years in cooperation with the National Archives.
We see no evidence of deliberate intent or obstruction of justice as we see in the case of Donald Trump.
None of this is to say that Mr. Biden should be prosecuted, but with the Justice Department's appointment of Robert Hur as special counsel, it'll be interesting to see if the two cases are treated in the same manner.
The document authorizes him to investigate whether any person or entity violated the law in connection with this matter.